Hi, everybody. How are you? Michael Lazaroff. Welcome to the Journey of Jazz webinar for our book guests. We are 29 days away from sailing. Very excited. This has turned out to be one of the coolest cruises that we've ever done. It's a fabulous mix of terrific artists and musicians, and we have really fascinating tours and excursions and dinners and it's very exciting to see how many folks are signed up to go to SF Jazz and to the various restaurants and the Napa Valley Wine Train. It's really going to be fun. Let's wait just about a minute and I'll be back. We have a whole lot of people trying to get on, and so I'm going to wait for them. Okay? Thank you. Okay, I'm back. Michael Lazaroff again, Executive Director of Signature Cruise Experiences. This is the Journey of Jazz book guest webinar. We're going to walk you through everything that you need to know for the cruise. Again, it's a really cool cruise. We came about this kind of by accident. We found out that the Summit, which is our customary ship, was doing a repositioning cruise from Alaska down to the Caribbean, and that's where we usually pick it up. And then we saw that there was a 7-day cruise between Vancouver and Los Angeles with an overnight in San Francisco. And for us, that was really cool, and that's why we decided to do this, because we could take people to Napa, Sonoma, and we have the Napa Valley Wine Train and all other places in San Francisco. And we're going to talk about this later. But first, I want to reintroduce Aubrey Pavlik, and she's going to walk us through all of the mechanics. We are leaving from Canada, which is something that we have not done before, and there's a couple of minor wrinkles, and we're going to make sure that everybody knows how to do things, because we are sailing in 29 days. Aubrey, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you, Michael, and thank you everyone for joining. So we will get started with some pre-cruise information, things that you probably know right now. First and foremost, our ship is the Celebrity Summit. Our sailing dates are Friday, February 12th through Friday, September 12th through Friday, September 19th, 2025. So as Michael said, just under a month here. Our embarkation port is, of course, Vancouver, British Columbia. We'll be in the East Berth. We are the only ship in port that day, so it's pretty nice. All of the terminal will be dedicated to us. And our port of disembarkation is Los Angeles, and we are in berth 93. Our ports of call are, of course, Victoria, British Columbia, and San Francisco. And we are overnight in San Francisco, as you all know. Moving on to one of the items that is really important prior to getting on board the cruise, and that is online check-in. So, online check-in is currently open. It opened at the end of last month, and it's available on the online platform through the 8th of September. Each guest must complete check-in. We highly recommend the online process because you may incur delays at the terminal if it's not completed online or via the mobile app. And we'll go over a little bit in the mobile app in just a couple slides here. So, how do you do this? First and foremost, go to this link here, which is celebritycruises.com/account, and enter your username and password and then click sign in. If you don't remember your Celebrity Cruises username and password, you can click forgot password, which is right under there, and you'll be prompted to reset your credentials. Or if you've never created a Celebrity Cruises account at this point, you can click create an account, which is right under the sign in, and then follow the prompts for that. Um, Once you are logged in, Journey of Jazz will appear in your upcoming cruises. So, and I think you want to go to the next slide on this one. Yep, perfect. Once you're logged in, Journey of Jazz will appear in your upcoming cruises. So it looks similar to this. You will click the Start Check-in, which is up towards the top. It's not a big button, so we have put a little arrow here to help identify it for you. And then you start going through the different parts of the online check-in, which we will show you momentarily. Um, Within the online check-in, it's a number of steps and it really kind of takes you through that. It's probably about 15 or so minutes in total for each person in your cabin. So you're going to have guest information and emergency contact, your travel documentation. So you really need your passport, and if you have a visa, you're going to want that handy so you can enter that information and submit that. They will ask you for a security photo. You can take one and upload it. Or if you don't do that, stop. It's not 100% necessary, so they can take your photo within the terminal when you arrive on embarkation day. You will need a credit card handy to fill in your onboard expense account information. There's a small health acknowledgement, and you will have to do that again on embarkation day. And then, last and not least, you will select your terminal arrival time, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but really that part is super important. It's available within half an hour windows, and that's just the time that you plan to get to the terminal on embarkation day. So make sure if you are flying in morning of embarkation, you're not selecting one of the earliest time slots if you're not going to be there at that time. They really try to regulate those so that there's a nice guest flow within the terminal. Once you've completed all of those steps, and you can do it for either one person in your party or multiple people in your party if you're all wanting to check in at the same time, your Celebrity Cruises Express Pass is going to be available to you. So we have copied what this page looks like of the Express Pass, and that's really your boarding pass. So if you do it in the online platform, you're going to want to print that out and bring it with you to embarkation day. Digital boarding passes are available in your Celebrity Cruises app. So if you've downloaded that, you can do that. We highly recommend having a printed copy anyway, just in case something happens, your phone dies on embarkation day, you can't easily access it, etc. Um, Moving on to the next slide here. After you complete your online check-in, celebrity luggage tags will also be available to you. So that started at 30 days prior. So I believe that was yesterday. Those became available to you. So if you completed online check-in before that, you might want to go back in and get those printed out. And if you're still yet to do the online check-in, then you're going to want to go ahead and print those after you complete the process. They're only available to those who complete online check-in. They are personalized and they assist with the identification process for your luggage, which is, as you know, super important. You want your luggage to get on board and get to your stateroom. They are available to print until 3 days prior to embarkation, so through the 8th of September. And we highly recommend these reusable clear luggage tags. This is a link that you can purchase them in Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive, and they provide a little bit of reinforcement so that when you're putting your luggage tags on your suitcases, it doesn't accidentally rip off, because otherwise it's just a paper and not the most durable item that there is. Okay, that is it for online check-in. Now, moving forward to mobile app check-in, we have some information down here. You'll see a QR code, and it's also available, or sorry, it's available in the App Store if you have an Apple, or Google Play if you're an Android user. So, if you use that QR code, you can find the Celebrity Cruises app. And what you're going to do is log into your Celebrity Cruises account. Again, same thing, use your username, password. Once you've logged in, you're going to see Journey of Jazz 25, similar to what we just showed you on the online platform, come up within your app, and then you're going to choose check-in at the bottom, and you'll follow all of the steps. The one item to note is that if you we highly encourage people to do online check-in as soon as possible. So if you haven't done it yet, please do it soon. If you accidentally and forget and don't do it, the mobile app check-in is available until the morning of embarkation. So in case you or maybe one of your friends who is also going on board with you did not complete it, you can complete it within the app until the morning of embarkation, which is nice. And last but not least, if you have any technical difficulties with your online check-in or need some assistance with it, Celebrity Cruises Help Desk will be able to help you. We have the number down here. It's 844-278-9746. And they will be able to help you on the back end. Unfortunately, we at Signature Cruise Experiences do not actually have access to the back end of their online check-in. So we have limitations on what we can help with. Of course, we're happy to help with whatever we can. That is it.
Aubrey, I'm actually,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm speaking of technical difficulties. I just wanted to break in. I need to reshare my screen for the
Okay.
webinar. So if everybody will be patient for just one moment, we're going to get this fixed so you can all see the full screen.
Okay.
Okay.
While Anna's doing that, I will just continue to talk, and then we can look at the screen when it becomes available. But we'll move on to Celebrity Cruises Pre-Cruise Planner, which has been available to all of our booked guests for a while now. So you've probably read about it within our Get Ready series. We're just going to review a couple things quickly so that those of you who need a refresher or perhaps have not gotten into it yet know what is available to you within that.
Okay, we've got the screen up now.
Okay, so I think you're just going to want to go advance maybe a little bit until slide 7, I think. Oh, yep, one back. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Celebrity Cruises Pre-Cruise Planner. Okay, so to access the Pre-Cruise Planner, you're going to do the same thing that you did for online check-in. Go to celebritycruises.com/account. And then instead of clicking on the Start Check-in, you're going to click on Plan My Cruise, which is that button at the bottom. We have an arrow next to it. And then once you click on that, you're going to see this navigation bar, and you can navigate within the pre-cruise planner by clicking through the navigation bar. There's shore excursions, there's drinks, there's food, there's packages, there's ship excursions, etc. So you can navigate based on what you would like to take a look at and peruse the options for. Um, Within Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner, we highly suggest making those purchases and or just at least looking at what the options are that you might be interested in. First and foremost, because it's going to have the best pricing that's available pre-cruise. So, for instance, we have our drink packages and our Wi-Fi packages, and we have 20% discount that we've worked with Celebrity Cruises to get for you all if you purchase in the pre-cruise planner prior to getting on board. So for the beverage packages, that includes the premium package, the classic package, the non-alcohol package. So as you can see here, there's 20% discount on all of those if you if you purchase those prior to getting on board in the pre-cruise planner. And the Wi-Fi packages, the premium 1 or 2 device also has a 20% discount. So if those are items that are of interest to you, we definitely suggest that you purchase those prior to getting on board, because once you do get on board, those will revert to those normal prices that you see within that chart. So an extra 20%. There's also specialty dining that's available. We have some discounts on the first night for Tuscan Grill an SCE Chops House, which is labeled as blue in the pre-cruise planner. There's spa treatments, there's excursions. As I mentioned, there's a wide variety of amenities and items that you can purchase. And if you're not ready to purchase yet, you can at least see what's going to be available to you. Again, we highly suggest it because you're going to save money if you purchase prior to getting on board. And also, you're going to save time on board. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but there's really not a central place where you can go to make all of these purchases once you're on board. And so, if you do it from the comfort of your own home, when you have time, you can make all of those purchases that you'd like to prior to getting on board and not waste any time on embarkation day. All right, we will go to the next slide here. So now we're on to embarkation day and the boarding process. So our cruise terminal, as we mentioned, is the Canada Place cruise ship terminal. We're in the East Berth. We are, again, the only ship that's in port that day, which is really nice because um, you will see all of your fellow passengers and know that you are in the right location when you're seeing them and all of the people who are there to assist you in the terminal upon embarkation or upon arrival. So again, we talked a little bit about your terminal arrival time. The terminal doesn't open until 11 a.m. You again select that terminal arrival time during your online check-in. Please do abide by that so that we have that nice guest flow within the terminal. In your hand, you're going to want your passport, your express pass, which we just talked about, that you get within your online check-in printed, or if you do it in the mobile app, you can have that in your app. Any medication that you might need or personal items, just in case, as you will not have access to the items that you hand over for a number of hours typically. Once you get to the terminal, you're going to want to transfer your luggage to the handlers. So again, just make sure that you have those celebrity luggage tags that you printed out. If you did purchase those clear plastic luggage tag holders, those are really nice. Make sure you have them in there. Again, that is the one item that will tell all of the people where to place your luggage. So very, very important to have that on there, clearly marked. If you perhaps forgot your celebrity luggage tags or did not print them out, the porters at the terminal will have some extra blank ones. You need to be able to let them know your last name and they can look up your stateroom, or if you know your stateroom, you can do that. They will handwrite it on. Again, we just like to encourage you to print them out to make sure that the correct stateroom is on there, just in case you have a luggage handler who might have illegible handwriting. Not ideal. Um, Last but not least, when you're handing it over, we do highly suggest that you tip those luggage handlers. They are the people who are making sure that your luggage is getting on board, a very important piece of your journey here. So we typically do suggest tipping the porters who are assisting you. Once you hand over your luggage, you're going to go ahead and enter the terminal and complete your registration. So, in this case, in Vancouver, you're right in downtown Vancouver. So, you're actually going to go up the escalator. Or if you can't take the escalator, there is an elevator available. And you're on the rest of your check-in is going to be on the second level there. And then you will board the ship when you're called. So, should be a relatively short window if you come at your terminal arrival time. With all of those terminal arrival times, again, we have a really nice guest flow within the terminal typically, so you're not waiting that long at all. Um, One thing that I didn't mention is that you are in downtown Vancouver. A lot of the hotels that you might be staying at, if you are staying in that downtown area, will likely have a shuttle service. So you might want to check on that. If not, it should either be a quick Uber or taxi. In some cases, you might even be able to walk. The terminal does not open until 11 a.m., and they are pretty strict about that in this particular case. So if you arrive the morning of and have a very early morning arrival via flight and you get to Vancouver early, instead of coming to the terminal before 11, I would suggest maybe going to a cafe, getting a bite to eat. That way you're not waiting outside of the terminal because they are pretty strict about opening at 11 a.m. Okay, boarding the ship. Your staterooms will be ready for occupancy when you are boarding the ship. So as soon as you get on, you can go ahead and head to your stateroom. Your cruise identification card or your room key will be at the mail slot at your stateroom. So we do suggest going straight to your stateroom, picking that up, making sure you can get into your stateroom, placing any hand luggage that you have into your stateroom, perhaps using the restroom, freshening up a little bit if you'd like to, and then taking a walk around the ship. Your luggage will be at your stateroom by 6 p.m. If you come a little bit later in the boarding process, it might be closer to that 6 p.m. time. Typically, it is well before that 6 p.m. time that your luggage will be available to you. And then we have a number of items that you will get at the boarding time. So we have a nice welcome letter, which kind of reinforces a lot of what we're talking about here, gives you pointers on theater seating, what food and beverage outlets are available to you, where you can make some of the amenity purchases that you might want to. Just a lot of last minute reminders on what you might need for embarkation day as you're boarding the ship. So, highly suggest you take a look at that when you receive that when you're coming on board. You will also receive a souvenir program, which is a beautiful program that has a lot about our itinerary in this case, since we're doing Journey of Jazz. And it's a very nice, unique itinerary. We have some information about that, the excursions that are available to you, and then, of course, all of the musicians. So, nice photos, bios, a little bit of information on them. And it's really meant to be a keepsake for you. Um, some of you who have sailed with us before know that in the past we have sometimes put the full week schedule in that. We don't do that anymore because we give you the schedule 10 days prior in an email. And you'll see down here we have a cruise app. So at 10 days prior, you'll receive an email and it will have information on our app, which will become available to you at that point that you can download. It has all of the daily details of what you can expect and when the shows are, where they are, etc. on board. And then we do actually put that onto our website as well for you. So if you don't have the app or are not interested in downloading it, you can look at that on our website as well. And last but not least, you will receive a lanyard with your embarkation when you're embarking, and that's a convenient place for you to hold your cruise identification card. All right. Once you get on board, we highly suggest going and grabbing a bite to eat. So lunch will be available to you, a couple different locations depending on which staterooms you're staying in. Ocean View Cafe, which is available to everybody, is on deck 10. that is the main buffet. You will see there's a ton of different stations, has a really nice wide selection and variety for everyone. And that is open for everyone starting at 11:30. So basically, once you get on board, you can go up, grab something to eat there if you would like to. If you are in an Aqua or Concierge class cabin, you do have a special lunch that is in the Cosmopolitan restaurant on deck 5, and that's from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And then Suites similarly have a special lunch that is dedicated for them, and that's 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And that's in Lumine, which is on deck 4, again in the aft of the ship. Excursions, dining reservations, package purchases, etc. So our SCE excursions and land-based concerts that many of you have purchased and are looking forward to, confirmations and tickets will be delivered to your stateroom on embarkation day. So you do not need to go pick them up anywhere. You will be receiving them right within your stateroom. It's going to be a little packet for you. And if you have any additional questions, or if you'd like to book additional tours, if there are some available still, you can visit our SCE excursions desk, which will be in the grand foyer on deck 3. So it's actually right next to our guest services desk. We'll have a dedicated desk where you can go to ask questions, ask about availability, anything else that comes up that's about our SCE excursions. Again, if you are unable to complete any of the dining reservations or package purchases in advance in the pre-cruise planner, the time between boarding and the sailaway party is a really good time to do so. You'll see that we've listed out here spa, specialty, beverage packages, Wi-Fi, shore excursions via Celebrity. Those are all available in different locations on the ship. So you'll see them here. They're pretty much within their respective areas on the ship. Part of the reason why we do suggest, again, purchasing those items within the pre-cruise planner platform prior, so you don't have to walk all over the ship. But if you didn't make those purchases in advance, you are welcome to do so at that point. Very important point on the next one, everybody does have a mandatory safety procedure. So every guest must complete the muster drill prior to us departing port. So what you're going to do is you can watch the safety demonstration video on the app, the Celebrity Cruises app, or in your in-room TV. And then you're going to go to your muster station. So that's listed on your cruise identification card or on the back of your stateroom door. Everybody has a dedicated muster station that they are assigned to. Celebrity Cruises team members will be around. You'll see them all around the ship. So if you don't know where your muster station is, you can just show them your cruise identification card and they can point you in the right direction. Typically it's the theater, the casino, etc. So once you get to your particular muster station, a Celebrity Cruises team member will verify that you have completed the safety video, and then they'll check you in at the muster station, make sure you don't have any additional questions on the safety procedure, and then you're completed. So there's no mandatory time to do this as a dedicated time for everybody on the ship. You can do this as soon as you get on board, and we highly recommend that you do it right when you do get on board so you can have that out of the way and then start enjoying yourself. And last but not least, this is really a great time to explore the ship. So you'll see here we have a number of the different entertainment venues listed, as well as the dining venues. So our entertainment venues are typically the theater, Sky Lounge, Rendezvous, and then Cosmopolitan Restaurant. We turn into a venue in the evening and sometimes during days at sea as well. And then our dining venues, which the Cosmopolitan Restaurant, which is the main dining room, Lumine, SE Cruises Chops House, Signature at Cuisine, Sushi on 5, Tuscan Grill, Ocean View Cafe, Pool Grill, Spa Cafe. So you can see there's a plethora of options for you to dine at. Cosmopolitan Restaurant, Ocean View Cafe, Pool Grill, and Spa Cafe are all the included restaurants that are on board. And then Lumine, Chops House, Signature, Sushi on 5, and Tuscan are the specialty items. So there is an upcharge for those particular restaurants. Okay, moving on to our very exciting excursions, which is unique to this particular sailing, and we're very, very excited about them. We will be sending out very soon confirmation emails for our wine and culinary tours. Um, so please do keep an eye on your inbox. These will include meeting times, locations, suggested attire, tour duration, kind of all of the last minute information that you will need to know to make sure that you're prepared for your tours. Um, we do have some sightseeing tours that are still available in San Francisco. So if you're interested in those, you can still take a look at those at journeyofjazz.com/excursions. And then you're going to see the sightseeing tabs that are available to you. A number of those tours do still have availability on them. Tickets for SF Jazz concerts are almost completely reserved. After this week, we can't guarantee the transportation from the ship to SF Jazz. So if that is still of interest to you and you have not booked either of the concerts, so on the 16th, it's going to be the SF Jazz Collective at SF Jazz. And then on the 17th, it will be Ron Carter Quartet. So again, really great options for concerts if you're interested in them. And of course, SF Jazz is a beautiful state of the art facility. We highly recommend taking a look and seeing if you have not booked those and you're not doing something already. Those are some good options for you as well. Last but not least, if you have any questions regarding your SCE excursions, prior to getting on board, you can email us at excursions@scecruises.com. And then once you are on board, again, we will have a dedicated SCE excursions desk in the grand foyer on deck 3, right next to our guest services desk. So we are here happy to assist, help with any questions, last minute things that you might want to know if they are, especially if they're not included in that email that you'll be getting very, very soon. Um, Again, an important note that we have for you down at the bottom here is if you've purchased tickets to either of the shows at SF Jazz, so again, that's the SF Jazz Collective or Ron Carter Quartet, you were asked to select your seats and the delivery method for your tickets during the reservation process directly with SF Jazz. So we just want to make sure that you know that you would need to bring those tickets with you on board. We at SE don't have access to the back end of the reservation system. So it's really important that if you did select to have them delivered to your email or a digital delivery, make sure that you're getting them printed, whatever method that you did choose to have them, that you bring them on board so that you have them easily accessible when we get to San Francisco. And then if you've purchased any of our sightseeing excursions, those will also be delivered to you on embarkation day. We have done those in conjunction with Celebrity Cruises, so those will look slightly different than the ones that you're getting directly from us, but they will be coming via Celebrity Cruises on embarkation day and have all of the information that you need there as well. Okay, we are at our takeaways here now. So first and foremost, most importantly, please remember to locate your passport, ensure that the expiration date is no earlier than 6 months after our disembarkation. Um, and just make sure that you have all of your requirements as far as visas or a Canadian ETA, or if you are not a US citizen, an ESTA if you need that to enter the United States. You will see a link here that it's basically ircc.canada.ca, and then it has a number of things. This information will be available to you on our website, and it's also in a number of our get readies. It's a great link for figuring out what documentation you will need to travel to Canada. This is through the Canadian government, so if you need a visa, if you're not sure if you need a visa, please visit this site and put in the information that they're asking for, and it will give you some instructions as far as what you need if you need a visa or an ETA. And one note on U.S. immigration as well. Since we start the cruise in Canada, immigration for coming back into the U.S. will take place on board the morning of September 16th when we actually first get into San Francisco. So U.S. Customs and Border Patrol will actually come on board for us. They typically come into one of the lounges, and then you're asked to proceed there in the morning. They'll process everybody on board. Those with excursions will be prioritized. It's a pretty quick process. There's nothing to worry about with that. Just wanted to make you aware that immigration process will actually happen prior to our disembarkation port, since we're coming back into the U.S. In San Francisco first. Our second takeaway is to just make sure that you complete your online check-in. Again, that is available to you now. So you can do that online or via the Celebrity Cruises mobile app. Please do that as soon as possible. If you run into any difficulties with it, please give Celebrity a call at that number that we provided to you. It's really important so that way you don't have any delays at the terminal on embarkation day. Again, we highly encourage you to purchase any of your reservations in advance. So your beverage, your Wi-Fi packages, any of the amenities that you think that you're going to want on board will save you some time and some money on embarkation day. And again, we have those nice discounts for the beverage and Wi-Fi packages that are available to you now within the Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner. And then timing is everything. So just make sure that you're allowing for extra time to reach the cruise terminal on embarkation day, and make sure that you're selecting an appropriate terminal arrival time, and abiding by that on embarkation day to avoid any confusion in the terminal. That is it for me, Michael. I know it was a lot of information. Hopefully it's helpful for everybody to kind of see the pre-cruise planner, to see the online check-in process. If you have any additional questions, we are always here to help, as is Celebrity Cruises. So I will hand it back over to Michael.
Aubrey, thank you so much. For those who know, Aubrey's been on maternity leave for the last few weeks, and it's nice to know that she hasn't lost anything during that time. She's back on top of everything that we do, and I thank you very, very much. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is we spent a lot of time during the webinar and in our correspondence talking about beverage packages, specialty dining, of the excursions, all things that are extra purchases besides what you've already spent on your cruise fare. It is important to us for you to realize that we do not participate in that income stream at all. We are providing you all this information both as a courtesy and also just to help you have a terrific cruise. Now, most of the excursions that we're talking about, we created it because we thought that it would be fun to create excursions just for our guests, like the Napa Valley Wine Train. Everybody on that train is going to be from the cruise, and SF Jazz, most of it, they have offered tickets to the public, but we have all of the prime reserve seats and things like that. I just want you to know that what we're doing here is trying to be your advocate for your trip, and these are not, we aren't selling anything. That's important to me. Once you decide to go on the cruise and pay your cruise fare, we are done doing business together. Now we're all in it for the fun together. So let's make sure we want to make sure that we share that with you. Now I'd like to talk about Journey of Jazz 27, and you're saying, well, what happened to a Journey of Jazz 26? we would like to continue the theme of Journey of Jazz being a true journey, where we take you to places where either jazz is important or places like San Francisco, Napa, Sonoma, where our jazz lovers like to be, something regarding the jazz life. Well, there's nothing even close to New Orleans. And so we are going to be going to New Orleans, and we will have the same time in New Orleans that we're going to have in your San Francisco. We have amazing things planned for when we are in New Orleans and for this entire trip. Because the cruise is January 24th through January the 31st, 2027, that is sort of a long way off. For those who have sailed with us before, you know that you have the right to rebook your current stateroom now or sometime during the cruise before we open it up to the public. This is a little bit different this year. You all can reserve your current cabin, and there will be an opportunity for you to move to a different cabin. But there's no obligation, no deposit, no anything other than you saying that you're interested until later this year, or perhaps even the beginning of 2026, when we finalize the lineup and finalize all of the arrangements. I do believe that we will be able to make one or two announcements while we are on the cruise about New Orleans, but we're not going to have the full lineup or the full arrangements set up, which is the reason why we're not asking you to be obligated. We're not asking you to pay any money. But if you think that you might want to keep your cabin for that cruise, by all means, you'll be able to. For those who are sailing on other of our cruise programs, Journey of Jazz in your 27 will be 1 week after the Jazz Cruise and 1 week before the Smooth Jazz Cruise, all on the same ship. So that's what I wanted to tell you about. Now we have some questions.
We have a couple questions. Jennifer's been responding during the webinar, but we have a couple that have come in more than once, so we thought we would ask you to address them.
Sure.
How would you advise tipping in Canada? Do they need Canadian currency? Will they be able to use U.S. currency in Vancouver?
U.S. currency can be used anywhere. Just remember that the conversion rate, that it's about 80 cents to the dollar. So when you tip somebody $1, it's actually more like giving them, if you use a U.S. dollar, it is probably more like giving them $1.25, something like that. There is every single computer and every single a smartphone has a conversion rate, but yes, they will probably gladly take a U.S. dollar.
And Aubrey may have addressed this, but what would you recommend? How much would you recommend tipping for the luggage?
I always believe that it is $10 a bag. That is just a rule of thumb that I've applied, and it has always been well received.
Great. This was a good question. They want to know if you need to use Wi-Fi to access the apps and to see the event schedule while they're on board.
No. Aubrey, can you explain it better than I can? It's a whiteboard.
Yes, it's called whitelist.
I'm a mechanical moron, so I can't answer this.
So we work with Celebrity Cruises to actually whitelist our app, and then we will actually whitelist the page on our website as well that has the whole schedule on there as well. So long story short is you do not need it in order to access the app or the schedule that will be available on our website.
Okay,
Oh, sure.
we've got one quick question, or came in a couple times. When you get on board, can you get off and spend the night in San Francisco?
Yes, you do not have to be, we don't do bed checks. You can do that, absolutely. You can visit friends, you can do whatever you want when we're there, okay?
Okay. Okay, well, Jen is gonna continue to respond to the Q&A as we go. Anybody that, if we didn't get the chance to respond to your question, we will email you, we'll follow up with your answer by email in 24 hours. And then we're getting right to the end of our time, so I was going to, okay.
Let me just finish for a second. I can't remember our team being more excited about a cruise. First of all, this is the first time in many, many years that we have sailed in the fall. It's the first time in many, many years that we have sailed from the West Coast. Similarly, it's the first time that we've done excursions, and it's certainly the first time that we've done excursions of this caliber. When you add that to Marcus Miller, Gregory Porter, Diana Krall, and everybody else who is on this ship, it's amazing. It is one of our typical wall-to-wall jazz cruises, and on top of that is some really cool things to do when we're not at sea. So rest up, because I will tell you that I can't, looking at the schedule, I can't see any time for you guys to really rest. You can rest after the cruise, but there's, tremendous things. The Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra, the entire orchestra will be on the ship. We have never been able to do that, but because we are in San Francisco overnight, we are able to do that. So it's going to be cool. Diana Krall lives very, very close to Victoria, so for her this is a home game, and that'll be fun. And it's just going to be a really terrific cruise. And so if you still have questions, you do what?
An email.
You email it info@scecruises.com. You can also call us during our regular business hours, which are 10 to 6 Eastern Time, Monday to Thursday, and 10 to 5 Eastern Time on Fridays. I look forward to seeing all of you in Vancouver, and we're gonna have a great time. Aubrey, maybe she said something, maybe she didn't. We're not going to the Caribbean. Bring different clothes.
Yeah,
Okay,
so actually, I just saw a question from somebody, and I think it's a great question. So, Michael, if you would like to address the attire on board, and I think both from a climate perspective and casual versus needing to be dressed up.
On our cruises, we want you to be comfortable. That is the most important. It is not a fashion show by any stretch of the imagination. One night, we call it formal night, and it's more of just a little more dress-up night, sport coats for men, and whatever it is that women wear these days to go out to a dinner and a show. I really urge that you wear really comfortable, supportive shoes. Even if all that you do is go from your cabin to the shows and meals, you're probably going to be walking more than you do normally. And because of the excursions, you're going to be on your feet more than ever before. We will send out something shortly with the anticipated temperature. It's going to be fall and layers, but it isn't going to be cold by any stretch of imagination, nor is it going to be 97 degrees like it is here in St. Louis. Comfort is the most important thing, particularly for your feet. Anything else, Aubrey, like that? Did I miss anything?
We did have one question about beverages as well, so I wanted to address that just in case there was some confusion. Beverage packages are a good option if you plan to drink, more than a few
Totally.
beverages a day. However, if you are interested, you absolutely can purchase beverages on board a la carte. So you don't have to purchase a beverage package in order to have a soda, have a glass of wine, beer, a bottle of wine, whatever your choice drink is. So that is more if you're planning to drink a number of drinks a day, it could perhaps save you some money because of the amount of consumption.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my piece of advice, which I've researched pretty good. Okay, um, if you are if buying a alcohol beverage package saves you a lot of money, then you're really doing some serious drinking. Okay, um, which is fine because it's a long day. I I recommend heartily that everybody buy the non-alcoholic package. That gets you all your waters, coffees, juices, other things like that, and do your alcohol purchases by consumption. I think that that is the most economical way to go. Aubrey, didn't we figure out one time that it was around eight, eight or nine drinks to break even, something like
Yes,
that?
I
Yeah,
think it's approximately that, probably about that. So definitely only recommend the beverage packages, the alcohol ones, if you're planning to consume quite a bit during the day.
yeah, and so, but you are going to want to drink a lot of water. They've got specialty coffees. They've got smoothies. They have all kinds of things like that, and not having to, you know, pay for each of those probably makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions like that? So we haven't. My other comment always is that there are, two things that I discourage guests to do. I discourage a dry cleaning. It takes forever. It costs a lot of money, and they do not do a very good job. If you have to have something pressed, that'd be different. It's only a week. I try to bring things on the ship that do not need pressing. But again, your a dry cleaning experience on the ship more often than not will be less than what you wanted it to be. And then room service. Room service was kind of okay when it was free. It isn't free anymore. And I know a lot of people like to have breakfast in their room service. I always tell them the following: I know where your room is and I know where the kitchen is, and it's a pretty good distance. And the odds of that breakfast coming to your room the way that you want it to is fairly remote. You are better going up to the Ocean View Cafe, getting your food, and bringing it back down to your room. I know that's what I do because that's what my wife tells me to do. She tells me to go up to the Ocean View Cafe, get her breakfast, and then bring it down. So that's why I do that. And I'm sure there's a bunch of guys out there in the same boat. Anyway, any other questions about anything?
There are a couple more that I think would be great to address
Okay.
here with everyone. So, one person is asking about excursion tickets being located outside of the door, and that's not the case. The excursion tickets will actually be within your stateroom, so they'll actually be placed on your bed. So, take a look at those. What's outside of the door is your room key card, and it's in a sealed envelope, so you can tell if it's been, opened Celebrity Cruises switched to this a few years ago. We have not really seen any issues with it. So that is kind of their standard protocol and not something that we necessarily take on ourselves. But those excursion tickets, anything that you've ordered through us, that will actually be within your stateroom. Um, there's also a question if US citizens need an ETA in order to enter Canada. And no, that is not the case. You will need your passport with you in order to enter Canada. However, non US citizens and non Canadian citizens should really go ahead and look at what the requirements are via that link to enter Canada. And then, of course, to enter the US, as you'll need both of those on this itinerary. And then I think the last question that I saw, Michael, that would be a great one for you to comment on is people asking about any theme nights in addition to like the formal night. So,
We didn't do that this time for the following reason, because of the excursions and because Victoria's late and San Francisco is late. There'll be some musical themes during the week, which we're going to be sharing with soon, but nothing that requires a special attire or any pre-planning by guests.
great. I think that's the only other questions that I saw that were kind of relevant to the full group. We will definitely take a look, and if we've missed your question or if it's more specific to something for you personally, as Anne mentioned, we will be going through those and definitely getting those answered in the next day or two.
Terrific.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Travel safely. We can't wait to see you. Have a nice Labor Day, and get to Vancouver as soon as you can. It is truly one of the prettiest cities in the world, so enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.